please. So welcome back to the second part of this session. We'll have Helio, Fernando, Rodrigues, Silva talking about the qualitative character of conscious experience in samadhi. So with that, thank you for coming.
Okay. First of all, I would thank you for being here with us. I think that we will have a problem. First of all, because my English is not so good. I think that's terrible, but I will do my best, okay? So, first of all, I want to show you, Yes, my 10 approach plan. So, we are talking about samadhi, but from the point of view of philosophy of mind, specifically from the point of view of natural dualism. There is a conception of dualism that was constructed by David Chalmers. We watch to samadhi from the concepts of natural dualism. Okay? The central question here is to know is their conscious experience with qualitative character in samadhi. It means is to know if when someone in samadhi has conscious of his state. Okay. This is the bibliography that I used to construct my paper. There are a lot of books here, but I think that won't be enough to construct all the things, but I will show you what I construct. First part one, the look at, I will begin for a dualism, a starting point. The central question or the central issue in dualism is the mind-body problem. For me, when we are talking about mind and body problem, in reality, we are talking about two realities. One reality, you can talk, you can say, you can call body, but you can call matter, you can call everything that you want to express, something that is on time and space. And another thing, mind, you can express, you can think in soul, God, and things like that. We always have the oppositions of matter and God, soul, and things like that. And the question here is to know if you have a certain independence from of mind from matter. Is this the question, the point that you have to think about in dualism? So we have here our brain. I normally use thinking myself as a body. I'm a body talking with you. And this body, this man that's called Helio, will disappear when this this brain disappear too. Do you agree that you are just a brain that thinks? A lot of philosophers think that's a reality. We, we are just a result of work of this brain. Mind, what is mind ontologically talking? In reality, we don't know. But you know that mind has states, imagination, perception, memory, sensations, thoughts. And one of these states is consciousness. And we are talking about consciousness. We are talking, we are talking in subjective experience. We don't know exactly what the other is thinking about. So our starting point. When you're talking about natural dualism, that's the central point here. We're talking about consciousness in two ways. One consciousness would appear like phenomenal consciousness when we have predominance of phenomenal characteristics. And the same consciousness would be appears like psychological characteristics when we have a predominance of philosophical or psychological characteristics. Naturally, phenomenal characteristics and psychological characteristics appears in curious occurrence. We have in the same conscious both characters, psychological and phenomenal. When we have psychological consciousness, we have in this situation is the state of consciousness where there is a cause or an explanation of behavior. So day by day, we are in a psychological consciousness, like in this moment. You are paying attention to me, so we are in a psychological consciousness. In a phenomenal consciousness, when we have a consciousness, the same consciousness with more phenomenal characteristics, we have just a subjective experience with qualitative characteristics that people normally say that's quali or qualia in the plural. I don't want to talk about qualia because in reality, we have here a subjective experience with qualitative characteristics. What is it? When we have psychological consciousness, someone is mobilized to do something always. For example, cross a street. A lot of people cross a street. We would talk and we would think in a lot of things, including to walk to another side. And the same way, when we are playing chess, you are in a phenomenal consciousness. In all this situation, we have the conscious affects, but what Chalmers perceptions. And we have a kind of consciousness or type of consciousness, proportional consciousness that relational consciousness of introspective consciousness is a critical thing. In all this situation in order, you are in a situation that your mind is mobilized to do something, is our day by day. It's special for us here self-consciousness, be aware of oneself. That is another kind of psychological consciousness. On the other side, you have a phenomenal consciousness. Here, we have a conscious experience with qualitative characteristics, which means we have sensations, and in some moments, sensations with sometimes with feelings, like this perception, good music, seeing paisage, seeing a sun, and things like that. You have sensations in your consciousness. You have a state of conscious experience with qualitative characteristics. So now we are talking about specifically about self-consciousness, a type that is important for us, that is a psychological consciousness. Here, state of consciousness, a state of psychological consciousness, where the most important thing is to obtain information about ourselves, to control your or our own behavior. In this situation, the great part of the characteristics of your consciousness is psychological consciousness, is being aware of oneself. One part of this is a phenomenal characteristic, that is a sensation of I, a phenomenal I. That is interesting phrase about it that I have here in some place. Let me find it. Yeah, it's the sensation of the eye. Is like this sensation of the eye is like realizing one's presence within oneself. Here, you are hearing and think about what I'm talking, trying to understand it. But in the same time, you have the sensation of your presence here. You aren't thinking about yourself, but this sensation, this phenomenal I is present. Instead, you are hearing me and try to understand what I'm talking about. Is a subtle characteristic of your self-consciousness. Is a subtle I. Now you're talking about the object being looked at. That is the consciousness in Yoga Sutra. What is Sita in Yoga Sutra? In Yoga Sutra, in the concepts related to the word mana, ahankara, and buddhi, designate the three aspects of Sita. Manas receives and processes stimuli of sensations and perceptions that you talked before, organizing them into information to ahankara. Ahankara, where is the place where egos appear, and all these sensations and perception is linked with an I that appear there. And all of these sensations and perceptions linked with an I is sent to buddhi, in which there is a critical discriminatory function capable of mobilize and means of action. This description in Yoga Sutra. This means the same that we call in philosophy of mind of by consciousness. So in Yoga Sutra, from the point of view of philosophy of mind, you have consciousness. And Sita is affected by phenomenal characteristics and Sita has phenomenal characteristics and psychological characteristics. Why? First of all, because you should think that there we have a kind of I, and at least in potential, we have Sita mobilized to do something. We were talking about here in consciousness with phenomenal characteristics and psychological characteristics. And Sita is affected by sensations and perceptions. We are talking about concepts from, we're talking about Sita, but from concepts of philosophy of mind. So as a whole, Sita is in Yoga Sutra reveals itself as consciousness with phenomenal and psychological characteristics. It perceives itself and everything else in a perceived and neutral situation and is ready to promote movement. So now you are talking about Sita and Dhyana in the Yoga Sutras. And we have Sita, consciousness, we talked about it. Psychological and phenomenal characteristics there. And Dhyana will maintain and stabilize consciousness. When we have perception and sensations, would create in consciousness oscillation that's breathes. And when we're talking about when we have meditation or dhyana, these perceptions and sensation are neutralized, eliminated, or at least stabilized. And Sita is in a situation of calm, or it's better to say stabilized. Is the situation of the meditation, and meditation leads to samadhi. This perception and this sensation, no more a situation that can create oscillation in Sita, and this situation of maintenance of stabilized consciousness, you have the possibility to go to samadhi. So you have two kinds of samadhi: samprajna samadhi, or samadhi with cognition, and asamprajna samadhi, or samadhi without cognition. From the point of view of philosophy of mind, specifically from the point of view of natural dualism, we have Sita with just with the phenomenal aspect of self-consciousness, the feeling of I. When we're talking about self-consciousness, we have both psychological characteristics, being aware, and phenomenal characteristics, that's the perception of the perception of your I. In Asamprada Samadhi, we don't have contents in mind. In this situation, we have conscience without any characteristics. and without the phenomenal why. Here we have pure consciousness. Conclusion. When we're talking about Samprajna Samadhi, what in it there is only a phenomenal aspect of self-consciousness, the phenomenal why. That is conscious experience with qualitative character that express what is like to be in this samadhi. And this experience is reportable in the first person after the end of the ecstasy or the samadhi. In the case of asampayana samadhi, there is no content in consciousness, nor phenomenal aspect of self-consciousness, and therefore there is no subjective consciousness of any kind related to experience of samadhi. But consider that consciousness and memory are two distinct components of the mind, would say that it's possible that after the end of the samadhi, of asampayana samadhi, that remains in the memory something like an impersonal sensation. It would be relatively inexpressible, and the recovery of this memory would be itself, that this recovery of this memory would itself be a conscious experience with qualitative experience. It means after a samadhi, as in this case, probably you won't be talk as you are, as you were in the ecstasy, but you can talk about the feeling that rests in your memory. Depending of this experience, the person would change completely after asampayana samadhi. So if it's possible in this situation of the asampayana samadhi, a person can talk about what he felt in asampayana samadhi, or at least what they how can I say, they felt in samadhi, because they kept it from his memory. So it's all I have to talk with you. Just thanks.